Hey guys, and welcome to another Pony 4-on-1. This is episode 74 for the week of October 12th, 2014. Once again, I am Nemesis, and joining me is Alcatraz.
Hello.
Yeah, so this week we have a new book. Books, I should say.
Plural.
Because, yes, the Daring Do Adventure Collection came out. We talked about a little bit about it last week.
Yep.
Particularly, hey, it came out, and, well, we got our copies. We read them.
Yep.
So we'll be reviewing those later on. But first, we have some news. And if you want to follow along with that news, which you should, pony401.libsyn.com/show notes. All the links and whatnot are there. So let's get going. In convention news, Midwest Brony Fest has announced that Andrea Lippman will be attending in 2015. Also, Silver Slinger, the guy who does pony metal work for like jewelry type things,
Really good stuff.
will also be there. So if you want metal work that's really nice and fancy, there you go. And you also have a lot of money because
They're not cheap.
for good reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, PonyCon NYC has announced Andrea Lippman as well for 2015.
Someone's going to be busy.
So yeah, so that's lots of Andrea Lippman. Anyway, the My Little Pony Fair, the PonyCon that predates Friendship is Magic by several years, will be in Chicago next year on June 27th and 28th. This is the all generations of MLP, not just Friendship is Magic. Those are some old people who have been interested in ponies for quite a long time.
Yep.
Long before a lot of us have been. Anyway, Nightmare Nights Dallas will have 5 exclusive cards for the Twilight Sparkle Secret Ship Fit folder.
5.
And surprisingly, they all involve bat ponies.
Or Luna.
Yep.
Not surprising.
So, yeah, 5. Everyone else gets like 1.
Yeah.
What the heck? Anyway, BabsCon has announced Kathy Westluck for their 2015 convention.
BabsCon.
So that's their second major guest announcement.
Yep, they're gearing up. See if it's anything like last year.
This year, actually.
This year, yeah. Last one.
And finally, in convention news, Kamikaze is going to have an MLP event with all of the main 6 voice actors, plus Agnes Garboska and Tony Fleeks from the comic. Plus, they have a discount coupon to get 10% off the ticket price.
All of voice actors.
Yes. Plus, they're going to be
Nice.
selling a print of Ponified Guardians of the Galaxy. So,
Yep.
you want to be looking out for that if you're going. Anyway, in other news, particularly gaming news, the Gameloft MLP game has added 12 new ponies, raised the level cap again, and fixed a few bugs. So if you're still playing that, or maybe kind of thinking about going back and playing it, there you go. And speaking of the Gameloft game, assets found within the game file suggest that the Everfree Forest and Tyrek will be added to the game in the future.
Looking for another
Big update.
big update.
Tyrek.
Tyrek.
I wonder how they're going to implement him in the game. Apparently there's going to be some sort of mini game involving him and stuff, so
Yeah. I don't know.
some sort of actual, like, possibly what looks like someone said a turn-based battle system.
Yeah, I saw some of
It's
the stuff. The
this thing's
Everfree
getting-
Forest stuff. It looked like the vines from
yeah,
season
some of it,
4.
but apparently it's actually also going to do the actual
Intro.
region.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Sounds interesting.
In merchandise news, the French version of Amazon has listed the Famosa Princess Celestia plushie with the lights and sound effects, apparently.
Interesting.
It's also about €50, so it's kind of
boy.
expensive.
Yeah, that's not cheap. So what, 70, 80, somewhere in the $70, $80 range, something like that?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, I believe.
Euros aren't quite double, but they're definitely worth more than the US dollar.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, not much more. So it's 63 to US dollars.
63.
Ish. About $63, $64.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. Anyway. Multiple MLP Funko Pop Fit prototypes have been found, including Discord, Celestia, and Spitfire.
Okay.
So those look like they're coming in the future. And speaking of which, My Little Pony Funko Pocket Pop set has been announced. These are smaller versions of the Pop figures, and the set will include Rainbow Dash, Discord, and Derpy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a small. These are like
The itty bitty
inch and a
ones.
half or something.
Yeah.
So they're about, I guess, half the size of the height-wise of the other one. So comes in a set of 3. There you go. In further Funko news, a Hot Topic exclusive Blue Flu variant of Funko's Discord figure has been announced. The release date is currently unknown. And in the last bit of news about Funko Pony figures, yes,
a lot of news from them.
Yeah, images of metallic and black variants of Rainbow Dash have been found.
Yeah.
It looks like at least the metallic version will be still Hot Topic exclusive, but nothing else really about them.
I'm gonna have to pick it up.
Yes, you will. Because you're a sucker. Anyway.
Yes, I am.
Adding to last week's news, images of the MLP Pez dispensers have been posted online. Apparently, they will hit Germany, France, and Austria first before being released more extensively globally. So, eventually we'll see them. But yeah, if you're in those areas, you'll see them first. And I believe it was, let's see, what was it? I believe Twilight, Pinky, and Dash. Yes, those are the first 3 images. Who knows if there's more, but soon.
Yep. We shall see.
You'll be eating pony candy. Or something. Anyway. The sitting Twilight Sparkle Banks that have been available at Walmarts for some time are now available online as well.
So you don't actually have to walk into a Walmart now?
No.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I've seen those several times now in the store. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good sized bank. And these are the same people who do those piggy banks as well. So
yeah,
there you go. New basic Equestria Girls dolls have been listing on the Canadian Toys R Us site. Most of them being new characters, including Lyra and Bonbon, or as they listed, Sweetie Drops. So they're getting their own figures soon.
I wonder if they're gonna pack them together.
No, they're the basics, so they're individuals.
Oh.
Yeah, basics are like $10 a pop, or something like that. Anyway, images for the Rainbow Rocks Rockin' Hair dolls have appeared for Twilight, Dash, and Fluttershy. These look like just, Rainbow Rocks with like weird hair clip-on things.
Interesting.
They're just dolls.
So if you like them, there you go.
Also, the Daring Do Adventure Collection will be hitting the UK this week.
Hey.
More specifically, the 16th. So you don't actually have to wait too long. UK, if you're UK, you listen, which apparently we do have UK listeners. You don't have to wait too long.
Yep.
And finally, in merchandise news, Build-A-Bear is running a survey for pony plushies. You can help decide which pony plushies get made next. They have things for like Spitfire, DJ Pony, Lyra, Octavia, I believe. The 3 princesses they haven't made yet, so on, Discord, so on and so forth.
Yep.
So, who knows? Maybe you'll help, decide the next plushie release. Anyway, in comic news, Friends Forever number 10 has a preview on iTunes. That is the upcoming Fluttershy and Iron Will comic. So, there you go. Coming out, I believe, next week. Yes. I believe it is next week. Yes, the 22nd. That's what it's slated for. Anyway, in Rainbow Rocks news, Rainbow Rocks is getting a theatrical showing and air dates in the UK, Italy, Poland, and Brazil.
Yay.
So, in October, November timeframe, got to go look to figure it out. But yeah, like Brazil's like one of the last ones or something. I'm not sure.
Something like that.
In Friendship is Magic news, one of the character designers for FIM, Robin Mitchell, has dumped pretty much everything he's done for the show onto the internet. Go check it out. There is a lot there.
Yeah, it's really cool to look at.
Including, interestingly enough, the original design for the logo.
Yep.
Which,
is more based on the older logo.
A little bit, and it's also the P and Pony was based on the pony head, which is like,
that's
actually kind of neat.
Of really, really cool little things.
Yeah, just like how they just designed like photo finish, and it's like, they said before it's based off Twilight. Yeah, and look, there it is. You can see it. It's just, look, there's a Twilight base with photo finish stuff drawn around it.
Yep, there's actually a couple of them that are done like that.
Yeah, it's not surprising. It's like if you have a good base to work with, why start from scratch?
I think, was it Philly Rainbow Dash was based off Scootaloo. Not surprising.
Yeah. Stuff like that. And Philly, Twilight, and Rarity were based off Sweetie Belle. So they use the CMC as a base for the main 6.
You got a base, use it. So yeah,
but don't drop it.
Really cool.
I'm not sorry.
You are not sorry.
And yeah, that's the news. So yeah, like I said, interesting stuff. We're gonna move on to the comic first, because issue 24 came out.
Kind of forgot to mention that at the beginning of the episode.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Don't forget. I mentioned it now. Anyway, we have a comic. It's issue 24. It's another standalone in the main series, which is unusual, but there you go.
Yeah.
It's actually only the second standalone we've had.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's Fluttershy is going to take the CMC out to go see some animals. Dangerous animal trackers, as they put it, but no, it's not going to be dangerous animals because Fluttershy is not going to do that now after that incident with the cockatrice.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're going to go out and do this, and Discord comes along as he thinks it's tea time, but nope, turns out he's accidentally a week early. But anyway, he decides to come along anyway because, well, it's Discord and he's not going to be stopped from having fun.
Yep.
So he decides to go ahead and help them go through time and see old extinct animals and whatnot. And shenanigans ensue from there.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this was actually funny comic. This was this was actually a really good one. It's just Discord. Well,
Discord being Discord.
yeah, Discord being Discord, which it's basically free reign for the comic book writers or the show writers or whatever to have fun, and the animators / artists.
Yep.
Just have fun with Discord, and they do that. References abound as well.
Oh yeah, and
including a very blatantly obvious one, which is kind of annoying. But what can I do about it?
I don't think it's annoying.
I think it should have been DeLorean, but that's just me.
Haven't they already done a reference to Back to the Future?
Once.
Okay.
A very small one, but yeah, it's just really well done. Lots of little references here and there. It's funny. It's well drawn, and I'm trying to think. There's this one thing I'm trying to think if it's a spoiler or not. But yeah, they kind of meet these characters who are very familiar.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so
Familiar.
it's interesting.
And
there's also an implication that some people may or may not like about Fluttershy and Discord, but
yes.
it's kind of heavy-handed, but it's like, I wonder. Our ship's going to be sunk? Who knows? But yeah, anyway, this one was a really fun read, and yeah, $4 as usual. Number 24, it's really good. I say pick it up if you haven't already. This is one of the better ones.
I will echo that. It's definitely worth it. Go pick it up.
That's it for the comic, I guess. It wasn't too difficult to get through that.
Well, no, it's just a little one shot.
It's a fun little one shot. There's not
huge
much to get into. But yeah, but on to the meat of this week.
The meat.
Yes, the meat. The Daring Do Adventure Collection came out, as probably a lot of you are well aware, especially if you follow GM Barrow on Twitter. But yeah, it came out. It's the big old $70 box set.
Yep, big old treasure chest box set.
Yeah, so to start off, just, we're going to go off non-spoiler first, just to get that out of the way.
Yep.
So, start off, it comes, big old treasure box, and it's actually pretty good quality.
It's really good quality.
I was surprised. I was wondering if this is something that's going to collapse in the next week.
Same. I was expecting it to be a little bit cheaper than it was.
Yeah, I was actually, to be honest, so there's a little inner book that houses the Daring Do figure. This is a little cheaper.
That one, that's I think the only thing I can really
I think it's more this is just because it's weird. It feels a little cheaper, but not too much.
Not entirely certain what I'm going to do with it, but whatever.
Yeah, this is what houses the little Daring Do figure, and thankfully you don't have to cut the plastic or the cardboard.
That's something I did like.
I was so glad about that.
I saw one with, oh boy, how are we going to handle this? And then I realized it's actually two pieces of plastic holding it together. So he just pops the glue on the side, and it's just meant to be popped, and just hinges open.
Which is nice. You don't have to cut it or anything, or tear up the cardboard, which is always fun when I get Transformers on card.
God,
anyway.
I hate those. But yeah, they did a good job there.
That's where the little figure... It's the book. It's based off the one in Daring Don't. You can tell it's except cardboard. You can't just twist it open and, oh, look, there's this hidden compartment. And, yeah, it's not like that. The little figure itself, it's just a Daring Do blind bag.
Yeah, it's just an unpainted blind bag figure.
Just the golden color. Not so much unpainted. It's just...
It's not unpainted, but it doesn't have the details painted on.
It doesn't have any details. It's a different color, too, than Daring Do. But, yeah, you can see the little indentations for the eyes. You can see that she's got the weird face compared to what everyone was expecting. Yeah, it's just a little golden Daring Do, the golden idol.
It's the golden pedagogue.
Yeah.
It's not spoiler. It's on the back of the book.
I know. Anyway, the three books themselves. You got Daring Do and the Marked Thief of Maripor, Daring Do and the Eternal Flower, and Daring Do and the Forbidden City of Clouds in that order. And I'm going to say this right now. It is important you read it in that order.
Yes.
And if you can't remember the titles very well, just remember red, purple, blue.
Of course, it does list the order on the inside of the book.
Yeah.
The first couple pages lists
in the order. You have to look in the inside, or just remember red, purple, blue. Any which way, if you read it out of order, it's going to reference events from previous books.
Yes.
And you're going to be like, wait a minute.
So read them in that order.
The actual books themselves, surprising. They're the hardcover, so that's one nice thing.
Yes.
And
very nice.
It's a really nice...
It's a weird canvas type material. It's actually really nice. I like that.
It's a really nice canvas material. It's got a really nice bit of artwork on the front, although I think one of them has a bit of an odd... like this one, the wings sit a little too low.
Yeah,
on the artwork.
It's kind of on her
got like almost
belly.
butt wings.
Almost, but they're forward and down, so it's like on her side.
Yeah,
on her
it's
back.
a little weird. There's like another extra piece of artwork on the inside cover, a little after. Now it's kind of I thought when they said something about more artwork, I was like, oh, this is in the cover. This is going to be like pictures throughout the book. Nope, no pictures. It's all text except for that front thing. But yeah, the pages actually have this kind of, it's supposed to look like, I guess, faded old paper. It's like grayed out, and you see like a map trail line and
the dotted lines and their cutie mark
in the corner and stuff. And it's weird. The first one actually has a little bit at the end for like field notes and sketches, and the other two don't.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting.
It's like, I guess if you're getting them all together, you don't really need 3 things for field notes and stuff. But yeah, that's the actual physical thing. Yeah, real nice. Actually, surprisingly nice. They did not skimp on quality.
No, really. They did not.
I think the only thing I would say they skimped on a little bit is the container for the idol, and that's debatable. I think.
Yeah,
might just be because it's thinner cardboard.
Yeah. One thing that's in each one of the books I did like is at the very end there's a cool little glossary.
Yeah. Each one has a little glossary. So
yeah. One tells you how to pronounce all the hard to pronounce words.
Yeah, that's
and tells you all
nice. Especially with the ones that's like they changed. Obviously, it's a pony pun, so now it's like, okay, how do you actually pronounce that?
Yeah.
But another nice thing is actually at the beginning they have other books by A.K. Yearling and under other books by G.M. Barrow, and they actually list like a bunch of the Daring Do books that don't actually exist. I'm hoping maybe they kind of get around to actually writing them.
Although if you look at the first one on the list, it's the one from the show, Sapphire Stone.
Read and Weep. Yep. So it's like maybe they'll release these eventually as actual books. Hint, hint, But anyway, that's the actual book quality. As for the stories, quick non-spoiler thing, they're actually pretty good reads.
They are. They're not long reads.
They're not. Yeah, they're our kids' books.
They are kids' books. So you can definitely tell that there's the reading levels, not.
But it's also high, doesn't. It also doesn't talk down. Really.
It doesn't.
I was kind of worried because that it's like the show's been high quality. But we've seen some of the supplementary stuff is not great. Shall we say?
But I was surprised they actually threw some.
That's
words
G.M.
in
Barrow though, so she's already has a pretty good track record enough to get on the show as a writer. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good read. It's very Indiana Jones-esque, as not surprisingly.
Yep.
It makes a couple references to the show here and there, not a lot, but a few.
Yeah, there's a couple times it references the the Daring Don't episode.
Yeah,
references a couple times.
Daring Do's personality works really well in this. It matches pretty closely to what we got in the show. I think there's a couple things I was like, but for the most part, it was actually a pretty nice little read. It shouldn't take you too long. I still recommend getting it, even if it's like you're gonna wait to like get digitally or paperback or whatever. It's still a really nice book. They're still really nice books, and I'm really kind of hoping to do more Daring Do because this is kind of a really nice little thing they did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I guess our non-spoiler part. It's just nice books. If you have the $70 or whatever, or you can get it cheaper or whatever, if you can find it and you kind of been thinking about it and you're kind of wanting it and you weren't sure, we say go ahead pick them up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to get the whole box set, just because they look good too, because it makes a nice set piece.
You can actually kind of display in such a way with the treasure chest open and all this stuff like I was kind of doing. You can see all the books offset, and then you can tweet it to G.M. Barrow and be like, to Taurus famous or something.
Yeah.
Or not really though.
Not really.
But anyway, so pick them up. Anyway, our I guess now if you don't want to be spoiled, this is the time to leave. Sorry, go away so we can talk about it without you crying that we spoiled it for you. So we're giving you ample warning, like right now. So you might want to tune out or go do something else. Go maybe read the books so you can come back and listen and see if you agree with us. But yeah, we're gonna go more in depth now. So
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Ahoy!
That's enough warning, right? That's plenty of warning. Okay, right. So we're gonna go more in depth. So first book, The Daring Do and the Mark Thief of Maripor. This is the intro book. This is actually a real nice introduction to the story she's writing for us. And it's basically, it kind of starts off like as a serial. Like it starts off, she's already on the end of another adventure, so but that's expected. Okay, so she's going along and she's kind of hearing that there's someone who comes to her house, and she's like, "Who are you?"
That's a little It's
a little later, but that's initial. But there's also some weird, strange guy who's ranting about being, doing something.
Yeah, she starts out. She's a stowaway on a.
She's a stowaway on a ship, and it's kind of neat.
And she overhears some conversation.
Sounds like, that sounds interesting. But anyway, she gets to her house, and there's someone there who apparently, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to be cautious because, that's a smart thing to do." Yeah. So she doesn't say anything, but apparently he wants her help. So, and he gives her a piece of encyclopedia which she's been looking for years, apparently.
Last book in the encyclopedia series she's been needing.
And it tells her about these what were they called? Flankara relics.
Flankara relics, yep.
Yeah. So it's basically these 3 relics from a staff, a sword, and an arrow, and these are basically protecting these 3 cities near a volcano.
Pony Pie.
What?
The 3 cities of Pony Pie and 2 others from Mount Vesuvius.
Lusitano, and Maripor.
Yep. Which
Vesuvius.
You should recognize Pony Pie and Vesuvius.
Come on, son.
Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius.
Thank you for spelling it out. But anyway, so she finds out about this, and she's been looking for the volumes. Now she kind of, she's something to do with, obviously, that guy who wants help, and maybe they're related. But anyway, so she, so the adventure starts, and she gets there. She's mistaken as apparently a big hero, the golden prophesized Pegasus.
Yep.
And so she becomes a teacher there because, apparently that's what she was supposed to be. Okay. Anyway, apparently 2 of the relics have all been stolen. The only one left is the arrow.
Yep.
And so she's doing this. She's trying to figure out what's going on, and she meets a kid, Tater Tot. I was half expecting him to name. Just go ahead and name him Short Round. But anyway, Tater Tot. It's very obviously Short Round.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he helps fill in some of the holes she has, and her trying to figure out what's going on, and eventually she finds out that pets have been stolen because, he needs the villain dude needs a captive audience to be able to pull off this ritual, which will endanger this whole area and, get them buried under lava and all this crap, which is bad.
Yes, because apparently as soon as you use the secondary powers of the
relics,
they lose all of their powers.
You cease to function. It's like, oh, fun. Anyway, so she does all this. She kind of figures out. I don't want to get too bogged down. I'm already being bogged down anyway.
Yep.
But anyway, she finds out this Mojo guy turns out he's also the guy who helped save them in the first place by giving them these relics, I believe. Yeah. And now it's like, what's going on? Why is he such a jerk now? And he's also got this scarred up cutie mark and stuff, which apparently is part of it. And so she goes to stop him. She talks to the pets and somehow convinces them, gets them out of their little hypnosis thing that he casts on them, and gets them to help her. And she meets up with Golden
Rule.
Yeah, Golden Rule,
which turns out to be
the actual.
Turns out to be the one who showed up at her doorstep.
Yeah, and he also apparently supplied her with a cream that she inadvertently by hoping she would use because it made her cutie mark disappear, and because.
More prophecy stuff.
Prophecy stuff, yeah. And, she eventually gets all this stuff and convinces Mojo to knock it off. Hey, stop that.
Stop that.
And, she gets the relics back to their rightful places and saves the cities. And then she goes back to Mojo and finds out, why? And turns out, he wanted to... He was upset because he was mutilated by Ahuizotl. So, yeah.
Yep.
So she helps get him a second chance.
Yep.
And then she starts to leave Maripor, and she gets another book, which tells her about the eternal flower, and that's the end.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a little. Yeah, I know it's a little jumbled, but I have to kind of go through and kind of refresh myself a little bit. We had to consume 3 books in one day, and we're both tired. Anyway. So, yeah, this one was a nice little introduction. Like I said before, it was actually really nice. There's obvious and blatant references to Indiana Jones.
Obvious.
I mean, come on, volcano, Tater Tot, a little kid, and a baseball cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, very obvious. I think even her little fake name she gives, Marion. Indiana Jones, yeah, references. I mean, if you weren't expecting those, come on. It's blatant Indiana Jones.
It was based off of Indiana Jones, so
yeah, it's actually this is a really nice book. It sets up this little trilogy, I guess, pretty well. And also, I think a couple things. I think my biggest issue though is at the end. It's like
the resolution is sudden.
It just kind of felt like all stopped.
Yeah, it was a little bit anticlimactic and a little bit sudden.
Yeah, it's just like that's
all of a sudden. He said a couple words and all of a sudden he turned.
Yeah, it's like if you were whining about some I don't know, Sunset's redemption being sudden, this is worse. I mean, it doesn't. I guess that's the biggest real flaw.
But yeah, that would be.
There's some stuff that's not super well explained. There's a messed up hotel room and it's like. it was messed
Yeah,
up.
they didn't really explain why it was messed
some
up.
stuff wasn't really super well explained, but it overall still it's like a pretty nice little read, I think. But and yeah, we said references earlier. Like there's a bit where she kind of gets stuck on elements of harmony.
Yeah.
Now, at first I thought this was taking place before Daring Note, but then it references Daring Note later. It's like, oh, because she's still got the I work alone attitude, which is like, I thought she learned not to do that.
But they actually talk about that, and I think in the second book.
Yeah, it's just.
Where she still prefers to work alone, but she understands now that there are some extreme circumstances in which it's
extreme
better.
Circumstances.
Yeah,
like when you got a fangirl and your tail won't leave you alone.
And was it this? Or was it the other? I'm trying to remember which book it is. I think it's one of the later books that they actually make a more direct reference to that episode.
Yeah, they make a more direct one.
Yeah, she reminisces about being strapped to the cinder blocks by how he's.
Yeah, that was I think it was actually Eternal Flower.
I think that was.
Which I guess we might as well talk about.
Because it's the next book.
Yeah, it's the next book. It starts off all referencing off the bat.
I did really like how this one started out, actually.
Yeah, this one she starts off kind of disguised, high society disguise because she hates dressing up, but she gets into this, it's Equestrian Botanical Society, I believe.
Yep.
Yes. And she wants to get in there because that's where she's hearing about something about the Eternal Flower, so she's trying to figure out like what's going on, who knows what.
She knows that there's a pair.
Yeah. So she finds them. She's trying to read their lips and stuff, and
Caballero shows up.
Yeah. Caballero, if you remember, he's the what's his name in the Indiana Jones? Yeah, I don't remember either, but yeah, that guy, the rival. He's the rival.
Yep.
Who apparently way back when she turned him down, he's been basically hounding her. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm not going to try not to read too much into it. Anyway, he interrupts this whole thing, and she has to fight him a bit, but he gets Fern and Vine?
Thorn.
Yes. Yeah, whatever. I don't remember now. It's
I think
Fern and Vine.
Fern and Vine. Yeah.
Pillow Fern and Thaddeus Vine.
Thaddeus Vine.
That's it. He captures them, and she's trying to get him to release them, and eventually he just kind of subtle nod of like, yeah, go ahead. After he got that.
Yeah, because they have a leaf from the Eternal Flower.
Yes, a leaf, which is super important apparently, as we find out later. But anyway, he lets him go, and let's see. So she talks to these two people, and turns out, well,
they were working with her uncle.
Yes, her uncle Adventure, as she called him.
Yep.
I wonder who that's a reference to. Maybe Indiana Jones's dad.
Yep.
Especially when you see like the inner art, it's like, oh wow.
Yep.
Come on, son. Although it's funny if you look at the picture and you read the description, they don't actually match up. The description she gives in the text does not match up with the picture. It's like, oops.
Yeah, not quite.
Yeah, it's more like, oh, we're just going to color exactly the same as Daring Do. But anyway, so she finds out that her uncle has something for her, and she finds another leaf and be hidden behind a
picture
painting
of him. Yeah.
Of him, yeah, because he left her a couple cryptic clues that she figured out. And so she goes off to, rescue her uncle, because that's the big thing, because her uncle missing. And so she goes off to rescue her uncle and find the Eternal Flower at the same time, because
they're figuring that's when he went
missing.
It's
probably a bit related. It's probably a little related.
Well, his uncle went missing looking for the Eternal Flower.
Yeah, so it's probably a little related.
So, yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, so another pony comes along who turns out, she was a henchman for Caballero, but she's like, no, it's not, no, I'm on to help you. And no, I swear, Daring Do begrudgingly accepts help.
Yep.
And they go off, they find her uncle, and she goes to rescue him and all this stuff. And every pony for themselves once it all goes to crap, which it does.
Which it does.
And she saves her uncle, they fly off, and
they get both leaves of the flower.
They get both the leaves of the flower, which are important, because without it, if you have only one leaf, it will not point you in the right direction, because the leaf is apparently a compass. But if you have only one leaf, it will point you pretty much in the wrong direction entirely.
If you put both of them together,
and then it'll point you in the correct direction. They managed to get both leaves, and they got, of course, surprise, guess what? Aoizotl is around, and he's now following them, because, I wonder why he's following them.
It's Caballero. Caballero works for him. Went to sell him the leaf.
Yep. So, they follow, they're going to find the leaf, and they have to go to dragon territory, turns out.
Yep.
So she actually apparently has a old dragon friend. It's actually Knuckle Duster, I believe his name was. Something like that.
Knucklebucker.
Knucklebucker, that's what it was. Knuckerbucker, something, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Knuckerbocker.
Knuckerbocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting name.
Yeah. So she calls on him and he helps them get to the dragon territory, without, pissing off the dragons.
Yep.
Which is something you really shouldn't do.
Generally not a recommended thing, no.
So they get there and turns out, oh, surprise, Thaddeus and the other one, Thorn, are both...
Thaddeus.
They're related. They're siblings, and surprise, they're going to betray them.
Yep.
Which I was like, oh, wow, this is... Like, when I saw Thorn, I was like, oh, gee, or Rose or whatever, yeah. I was like, oh, gee, I wonder.
Thorny, it's like Rosie...
Rose Thorn or something.
Thorn, something like that was her name.
Yeah, it's like, oh, gee, I wonder if she's going to betray her. Oh, hey, guess what? She did.
Well, that's actually what Daring was kind of expecting too.
Yeah. So anyway, they get to this place and it's like, oh, they found the flower and stuff, and they're like, okay, but there's a whole bunch of flowers now. They got to find the right one, and it's kind of.
I wonder what that's a reference to.
Yeah, gee, I wonder. There's a whole bunch, and of course, it's the plainest flower. Gee, I wonder what that's referencing. But anyway, they find the flower and. Of course, the two villains choose poorly. One of them gets, Aoizolde gets poison joy, combines with shrinking. And then, I believe,
Bloating Rose or something?
Bloating Rose or something.
Something like that. Something that he inflates and floats away.
Yeah, which one was it? Yeah, Vine. Vine was the one who does
Thaddeus.
that. So it's like, oh. And so they find the flower, and now it's like, now what? Okay, we're going home. Yep. I found it.
They left the leaves, if I remember correctly, so it couldn't be traced again.
Yeah.
But
they found the flower because apparently you have to. And this was actually kind of interesting. Was like to find the flower because the flower changes every single time someone's looking for it. It always changes appearance.
Except
the only
for its roots.
Constant is the roots, which curl up on like as an infinity symbol because it's the eternal flower. So they're trying to figure it out, and Daring somehow winds up going through the water into an alternate dimension underground. She can see all the roots, and she finds the one with the infinity symbol roots, and it's just the plain white flower.
Yep. Bit interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing. That's almost...
There was a couple... I think my biggest issue with this one, there was quite a handful of Deus Ex moments, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Like the dimensional thing.
The dimensional thing was just kind of out of the blue. It's like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
It was sort of a bit with the dragon, though they kind of lampshaded that one away.
Yeah, it's like it happened earlier. She kind of helped him earlier, and so
it helped him, and now he's
Deus Ex Machina. It's still Deus Ex Machina.
It is, but that one's kind of lampshaded a little bit.
Or if there was an earlier book in the series, it would be a Chekhov's gun. But as it is,
yes, which is actually a little bit interesting. They leave room to create the prequels still.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing was they're talking about, the eternal flower gives you eternal life and all this stuff.
Drink the nectar and it gives you eternal life.
Gives a pony eternal life. Supposedly some pony did drink it once, but...
Which means it's an
obvious... But something... Aoizolde says something along the lines, I will be the only immortal being in Equestria or something. It's like...
Are you forgetting about someone?
Like Celestia and Luna and maybe Cadence and probably
Discord.
Twilight and Discord and maybe even Tyrek. We don't know really.
Yeah, about that. I don't credit Aoizolde with
and maybe
much.
Chrysalis. We don't know again.
Well, it is Aoizolde. He doesn't come across as the brightest. I mean...
And also we find out he's super scared of dragons.
Yep.
Apparently some dragons are super scared of water.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, or maybe
live on an
something,
island.
something weird about that water. But anyway, yeah, this was kind of a nice one. Like I said, those were weird problems. The Deus Ex Machina was just like, what? It was a little like there's no build up. It just came out of nowhere. That really is a Deus Ex Machina. It's just
Crap, how do I find it? Oh, you're randomly underground and you can see the roots.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was still a really nice read. I think didn't really start to fall apart really until the end. I mean, the Rose thing was a blatant like, oh, she's going to turn out to be a bad guy. I mean, Vine also like really close to the beginning. It's like he's being all shifty. It's like, gee, I wonder what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. He's in cahoots with Aoizolde somehow, either by being coerced or he voluntarily.
Yep.
And turns out he's a bad guy. But he gets his just desserts. But yeah, so it's just kind of they really telegraphed. Again, it's like, I think it's that you can't be too subtle or else it's going to go right over the kid's head.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise though, I still think this one is also a pretty nice read. It's just, there's a couple things where they're being super obvious, and that Deus Ex Machina again.
Yeah.
Because the first one also had a bit of a, well, it wasn't Deus Ex Machina, that was more of a, just kind of sudden. Yeah, so I think both suffer kind of in the really fast, unusual solution in the climax.
Yep.
They both have that same problem. The final one is Forbidden City of Clouds. And this one's a little interesting.
It is
in that it's not as directly linked as the other two. These two are like pretty directly linked. I mean, it mentions events.
It doesn't directly.
It mentions events
through the story.
Of the first two.
It doesn't directly tie into it except for the end.
Yeah, till the end.
The very end, it ties into all of them.
Yeah, which we don't have most of them.
Yeah. So it's definitely. It ties into it, but you don't realize it until the end. I think they did that one on purpose, though.
Yeah. So basically, it's just she's trying. It's once again starts off as another adventure. She's getting a crown. Apparently, this crown, if it's not mated with her sisters, the crown from her sisters. Yeah, it's this crown from an old queen or princess or something.
Yeah.
And she had a sister, and apparently it was cursed because she was married off against her will to someone who was a jerk or whatever. I don't. Yeah. And if they're not put together within 14 moons, hey, look, there's that measurement again.
I like that one.
They'll cast eternal night. This sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. Just a little
But anyway,
bit.
so she succeeds in getting them together with 1 day to spare. So we don't ever find out if that was actually true or not. That's the thing about ancient artifacts. You're never sure if the legend around them are actually true.
Yep.
But she does that, and while she's dropping them off with Ravenhoof.
A.B. Ravenhoof.
Yes. She finds out about this city in the clouds. Cirostrata.
Ah, yes.
And it's an invisible Pegasus city in the clouds, basically.
Yep.
And so she hears about it, well, she has to find it because
especially the rumors about the halo.
Yes, the halo. They're blinded by its majesty.
No.
Sacred rings. Anyway, it's forbidden. So of course, she finds out only one outsider has ever made it. Brumby Cloverpatch. So she goes to find him, and she finds him in this weird unicorn city, like in a mountain.
Very secluded.
Very secluded, but they don't really like outsiders that much.
Kind of like the city.
Yeah, it's very similar, except I guess not invisible.
Yep.
And with unicorns instead of Pegasi. And one quirk that city has is all the unicorns are like kind of monocolored, in that
they always wear clothes that match their coat.
Yeah, no, I mean if their coat is blue, their mane is blue.
And they
different shades of blue, but it's still blue.
And they wear blue
and their
clothes.
clothing that matches with it because I don't know,
it's weird.
They've never heard of contrasting colors, I guess.
Well,
anyway,
if it match their coat, then no.
Anyway, it's just a strange thing. Anyway, she finds him and she tries to talk to him. At first, he gets mad until he mentions Ravenhoof, and then the guy convinces him to help her, but he says he can't go in because he was kicked out and all this stuff. And he gives her a letter to deliver to a Dew
Point.
Yes, Dew Point. I was like, it's a P. It's a P.
It's Dew Point.
Yeah, and give it to her because things happen. But anyway, she gets to the city. Basically, to find the city, you have to go in a revolution, 22 revolutions in the air until boom, there it is.
Until it shows up.
And it's just kind of weird. She's kind of sitting there and she's she's figuring out. And apparently, the Pegasi here are weird. And they have these really long ears.
Yeah, like long, droopy butterfly ears and 3 vertical lines under one eye.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's very interesting.
It's I guess an interesting offshoot of the species.
Yep. That's what happens when you seclude them for hundreds of years.
Yeah, things get weird and different. But anyway, she gets to the city, and at first she's kind of figuring out what the heck's going on. And then there's a statue, and she keeps hearing voices on the wind and stuff, like telling her what everything is, because she can't read any of this. This is a different language. She can't read any of it. Yep. But she keeps hearing voices in the wind that are telling her like names of things, and there's a statue with a monocle, and so she feels compelled to take the monocle. And she starts hearing intruder, and it's like, oh! And eventually she actually takes the monocle and wears it, and all of a sudden she can see this invisible city
through the monocle.
The real thing. It's like, oh. So she's trying to, go through. She's blending in. She got a little disguise because they don't like outsiders, because the last time there was an outsider, things went bad.
Yep.
And so, let's see. Yeah, so she finds the monocle. She gets in. She starts trying to figure out where this Dew Point is and stuff, while being also... But she finds a grandmother Clement, who apparently is a bit of a, I guess, fortune teller of sorts. She has apparently a crystal ball which will tell her the future, except there's 3 different things. 2 of them are the truth and one's a lie, but you don't know which one.
Yep.
And for her, let's see,
Dew Point will betray someone, one will be imprisoned.
And you will safeguard, what was it?
Keep the halo safe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. You will protect the halo.
You will protect the halo.
So she's not the arbiter.
God. You're really just going to keep making these references, aren't you?
Yes, and I can't help it. Because they keep capitalizing Halo. I can't help it. Anyway, so she eventually, after all this, she's trying to figure out which is the truth and which is truth and which is the lie, and she's really hoping she's not,
not going to get betrayed or imprisoned.
Yeah, she's hoping, but one of those has to be true, which sucks.
But the wording is vague, so it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she eventually gets to Dew Point, and she talks to her a bit.
Gives her the letter.
Yes, and delivers the letter, and, well, she gets locked in a room. And this room also has these weird carvings, which are like showing events
as they happen.
Which is weird. And apparently only one other pony can see them, and that's, I believe, the Duchess herself.
I think so.
Yes, so it's the Duchess herself. But anyway, she gets locked in here. She thinks Dew Point has betrayed her, which is a reasonable assumption.
Yeah, and she thinks those are the first two, because locked in a room, she's imprisoned and betrayed.
Nope.
There you go.
Those are the true ones. Anyway, she finds the Duchess, and Brumby, who apparently Brumby fell in love with, and that's why he got kicked out of this place, because her father was not happy about that.
The Duchess comes and finds her.
Yeah, the Duchess finds her, and it turns out she was just, Dew Point was just, keeping her safe, all that stuff, and
because the city's on watch for.
Yeah, and so anyway, they meet and they start talking, and she's gonna leave, and not only that, they decided they're gonna reveal the city because Daring is gonna get the Halo.
Yep.
And
then the big twist.
Yeah, and then turns out she's possibly going to become a part of ancient society.
Yep. Including the person who created the invisibility for the city in this place.
She's going to become Daring Do the Constant. She's going to protect the relics.
And it turns out she's already been protecting some of the relics, and that's what we saw in the last two books.
Yeah. So she's going to, the city's going to become visible now. And it's because the Duchess thinks it's time for. Anyway, so that's how it ends, really. And it's kind of interesting in that the ending is both cool, but it's also kind of like weird. And it's like things happen really fast.
It is.
And it's a little like, wait, what's going on? Is there going to be more? Are you going to explain some of this? Hello? Is this really the end? Is this really how you're going to end it?
I'm really hoping it's not. In this one, I really liked the build-up and the storytelling for most of it until it got to the end. It was really good. I think that's a common weak link. What happened, and then it got to the end, and all of a sudden everything was rushed. It didn't have really it had a little bit of a Deus Ex here and there, but not that much. It just felt really rushed really fast at the end.
I think that's the common problem with all three of these. The ending goes really fast, like, oh, and it's like all resolved really fast, and it's like, that's that. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. That's
still a really good read, but
it's still a really good read. It's like, it's except for this thing. This one is weird because like it's really rushed, and then you get this little end like I guess teaser thing, tag, whatever. You're like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
And it's like it's supposed to be part of a bigger story that we don't see, like, I guess 9/10 of or something. It's like, it's nice. Are they planning on doing more? I hope they are. Maybe they're banking on this doing really well. I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah, I'd love to see. That's a weird thing. Is that all these are really good, except they all have a really rushed ending.
Yep.
And it's a weird common thing. And it's like, I'm wondering if that's kind of a fault with GM Barrow in general or something. I'm not sure. It's like she writes really good stuff, and then the end is like, oh, and just moves real fast. Like, oh, I guess that's that.
I wonder if there's like a limit on how much
like
they
this
could
one
put in a book.
Also, another one was this one didn't really have like a major villain in this one.
It didn't.
Unlike the other two, we had like the thief in the first one, and Aoi Zodal in the second one, and Caballero, and they kind of mentioned Caballero, he was on the cover, but then he just mentions. It's not even like really him. It's just a statue that looks vaguely like him.
Yeah.
And she gets all paranoid. Is that you, Caballero?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting in that regard. I'm not sure how to...
I'm wondering if there's like a certain limit that they could put on the books, and you just kind of almost like running out of time in an episode, where you have to kind of rush the episode because you can only have 22 minutes. I'm wondering if there's a certain limitation on the books too.
Probably you can only write so many words. It has to be fit within a certain amount of pages. Or something.
That's what I'm thinking.
I notice also the last one is also the longest one.
Yeah,
it's 18 chapters, and I believe it's also got the most page. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it does not. The second one is actually
a couple pages longer.
Yep, just actually, 1 page longer. And the first one is the shortest, though. It's shortest by about 12 pages.
Oh, dang. But yeah.
This is probably why this one has the extra stuff about field notes and stuff, because they had to fill it out somehow to make them all even.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there's like a page limit.
It probably is.
That would somewhat explain the rushed ending. It's like,
it feels like it's building up really well. It builds up really well, and then the ending just kind of happens. Yeah. And happens really fast. You're just kind of like, did I miss something? Yeah. Go back a couple of pages, like, no, I didn't miss anything. But yeah, it's still a really nice read. It's also super easy to read for the most part. You'll sometimes trip up over some of the names, but that's what the glossary's for. Yeah, so they're all really interesting reads, and it's obvious it's like they did this whole thing of like you're being dropped in the middle of a longer story,
or at
and
the
it's
end
pretty
of
obvious.
Story, yeah. You look at the book listing in the beginning, and it's the last 3 in the listing.
I'm hoping that then they'll actually write those as well. I'm really hoping that will happen, because there is a lot there, including the one with Rainbow Dash, which he'll be happy, because like, hey, there's Rainbow Dash.
Yep.
Because that would be, I believe that is the Ring of Destiny, I believe, or
with the Temple of Scorchero.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the one that was actually the Daring Don't episode.
Yeah. It's one of those two. It's either Ring of Destiny or Trek to the Terrifying Tower, I believe.
I think it was Rings of Destiny.
It was Ring of Destiny.
Ring of Destiny?
But then it was only one ring until they got to the end, so it probably was just Ring of Destiny.
Possibly.
So that's probably the one. But yeah, it's weird too. Actually, one of the books, I believe, the first one is they actually blatantly reference her little house in the middle of the woods, and there's a typewriter. Because it's not common knowledge that A.K. Yearling and Daring Do are actually one and the same, and Daring Do is real.
Yep.
Yeah, it builds up really well. There's this whole intrigue about the secret society and these protectors of Equestria and stuff. It's like,
there's a lot of cool things going on. Wow, this is a
parallel with something in the show.
Use a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, and like I said, this last book has some really nice stuff, and this one is not as blatantly obvious. I thought Dewpoint and Duchess Precipita,
yeah,
I thought they were going to be the same person because of the DP, because we don't see them ever at the same time.
About that.
We never really see them at the same time, but it's like I thought they were going to be the same pony for a while. It's like it's one of those I'm disguised things. Nope,
Queen Amidala,
yeah, sort of. But like because everyone says only the mayor, only Dewpoint gets to see the Duchess and all this stuff. It's like DP. It's like I thought it was going to be the blatant. Oh, they're the same pony. Nope. Turns out they're not the same pony. But so I was like, you got me. You got me. I thought I had it from the get go. Nope. But anyway, this Magical Council of the Ancients, that is very intriguing. I want to know more. And it's like, it's like the very end of the book. And
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reveal that what's-his-face that created the enchantment for the city is still alive after all these years. And is part of that. Which makes you
wonder if that's part of the Eternal Flower thing.
Possibly.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole group of people that Daring is now being inducted into.
Possibly, if she succeeds.
If she succeeds.
One of those. You have to prove yourself worthy and fulfill your debt.
Wait.
I've heard this before.
Can't imagine where.
But yeah, there are a couple parallels to the actual show, and there's a few references here and there. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. It's like you'd think someone like Daring Do would possibly have heard, as they said, the Elements of Harmony was mentioned briefly. It's like, do you think she'd hear of the people, ponies who actually,
wielded them?
Yeah. And stuff. You think, but yeah, it's weird issues aside from beyond that. It's like there's little weird issues like always all of it's like I'm going to be the only immortal in Equestria. It's like I think that's always old. Just not really thinking.
Yeah, I think.
Then again, we never really got. It's kind of implied like in the journal, it's two sisters, not like Celestia and Luna aren't actually immortal per se, but we never know. They never really have yet to actually adequately explain that. I don't think they ever will.
Yeah.
We find it funny, though, that they did, again, moons. It's like, and of course, it's kept it vague, again. We don't really know what that is, but I'm sitting there, yeah, so.
Yeah.
At least they're consistent in their vagueness. It's kind of, one thing I do like also overall is that they do the little, I'm going to just drop you right into the middle of an adventure type stuff.
It lets them, if in the listing, we do the last thing. These are the last 3 books. It leaves it open so they can write more.
But also, it's funny because like these these 3 are run right after another. But obviously between Eternal Flower and Forbidden City of Clouds, something else happened between the two. Obviously, because she's suddenly in the desert getting a crown.
Yep.
Which is not in part of the book list. So that's just you're gonna do that as like this thing. I guess that's just this writing style. Just drop you in the middle and You don't get to really know what happened before. You just kind of get to fill in the blank, which is an interesting little... That's actually pretty neat, but I still want to know more about the society.
Yep.
That is a big draw, and I'm hoping they expand on it later.
I do, too.
Anyway, yeah, so still, even though, despite the rushed endings and the occasional just kind of quirkiness of just having to run right to a young audience, these are still really good reads, I think. You'll probably knock them out in a day, maybe 2 if you're...
Depends on how quick you read and what you're doing.
All that stuff, yeah. So they're not difficult. So, the text, it's nice big text. They seem bigger than they are. They seem big, but when you actually go, it's like, oh, the text it's large.
Large margins text. And large print.
Yeah, large print. So. A lot of pages are just blank because of how they do their chapter breaks.
Yeah.
So, overall, though, very well done for the most part. Couple niggling issues here and there. Worth picking up, though.
Yep.
Is it worth $70? Maybe. It really depends on, like...
How much do you like the
If you already read G.M. Barrow's other works, you probably already have an idea of what her writing style is if you enjoy it. And I think a lot of people do enjoy it. So, go ahead. I'd say pick them up.
I'll agree with that.
Or if it really $70 is too much, you don't have space for a big old treasure chest, I guess. I'm not sure if they'll ever do digital or paper. They probably will eventually. Digital and paperback.
Possibly, yeah.
But it's worth reading.
Definitely.
They are worth reading. So, yeah. I guess that's many ways I can say about the same thing of, hey, it's good. So, that's it. No fan content because, again, 3 books to cover. A lot to cover. Especially when you get a little rambly when you're tired.
Yep.
So, if you enjoyed our rambling about this, and you want to hear other ramblings, past and future, you can go to pony411.libsyn.com. You can download all the episodes there. You can also go to youtube.com/pony411. Non-download versions all there, unless you use... Yeah. But anyway, streaming right there. You can also go to Stitcher. We're on there now. Just, use the Stitcher app. Or... use the website. We have a reference link on the Libsyn site as well. Anyway, you can use that, listen to it, all that stuff, real nice. Or you can go via iTunes. Search for Pony411 there. Subscribe, all that jazz. Howdy-ho. And now, Ponyville FM is also another place you can go to. That is every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And of course, if you like it, maybe you want to give us feedback, you can contact us. Maybe if you didn't like it. So yeah, you can contact us, pony411podcast@gmail.com. That's email, comments, criticisms, whatever. Hey, or even suggestions. That's how I wound up in Stitcher. Someone suggested it. Thanks for that, by the way. You can also, contact us via Twitter or @pony411. We're tweeting, doing goofy stuff sometimes. Things happen. Who knows? Maybe we'll goof off with you if you're particularly funny. I don't know. But anyway, we're also facebook.com/pony411. Usually we post episodes there as well. So if you don't use Twitter for something, there's another method of being up to date. It's also where we put some announcements like, hey, we're on Stitcher now and stuff like that. Or you can go, contact us, our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. He's at Alcatraz with an underscore at the end in the 7 and 7th.
Yep.
So that's it, I believe. Tune in next week. We don't know what we're doing quite yet, but we'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I swear. So anyway, until then, though, please pony responsibly, guys.